This is a Ariens snow thrower, and I had to access this tiny screw. So it's a Ariens, has an OHV engine. This one is the 280cc. Now this one was secured with another one at the top, which is just a simple adjuster with the Phillips hole to it. And you notice I did mark them before removing. I will talk in a second about it. Now this one, the red one, was sitting into that hole right there. It's going like this, and you are better off to mark it because it goes into a certain position. You should not rotate it. It stays like this. It could be the other side too, but so it has like a side hole here at the bottom of it basically, and there's also a metal piece in there. Hold on for the camera to focus. And if I would put the light on it, you will see that there is a tiny hole into that metal piece, and that hole on mine was just restricted somehow. It's so tiny you cannot really get a needle into it, so I got to use a small wire. I just put from the cable a wire, and I just got it inside there and cleaned it. Now again, this guy sits in there. It just sits in there. It has like two seals to it. It just drops in there, and you have this one, which you need to be careful because it's plastic. I recommend you, before removing it from there, maybe make sure how many turns you undo it, so you put it in the same position, because it has like an angle here, and it adjusts the depth of the position for this one. I'll show you right away how I did access this guy. So you need to undo the cover here. I didn't remove the top one. It has two bolts, 10mm at the top. I also did remove the choke, just pull it, decay. Then it has two bolts here, 10mm. And there's also two on the side, 10mm. Also, I had to disconnect the wires because I really need to toss it. So the wire on the stop button, it's on the left here, both wires. This one, it's on the K. I didn't manage to remove one. These are extremely difficult to remove because they are locking connectors. Basically, they have on the side with this say this side here at the top, there's a small tab right here. If the camera will focus, hold on. Yes, this small tab right there, you need to press it like that. Depress it, and then you can pull it, and you have to depress it perhaps using, try to reach with a Italian screwdriver. If you don't depress it properly, it's not going to come out, and it's worthless to try pulling from there. It's really solid. So don't disconnect these hoses from the primer. If you disconnect it, I think the fuel will start leaking, so you don't want to disconnect it. I had to kind of twist this guy here down, so maybe try to find the position the cables go. Yeah, try to find the position. This one I could not disconnect it. Yes, there's also a plate like this at the top. I think it sits like that. It's a bit difficult to reach. I did have to use the wrench, not the ratchet, for the two bolts. And then you have this plate, black one, which has the kind of studs. You need to put the 10mm socket on it and just remove them from there, and you slide it off. And also there is a tiny plate just that sits like that. To make sure that whole bit there, it's only on the bottom, not at the top. You don't see anything at the top, but you can look at the light. On the light, just put the light on the side here, and you should see that tiny hole in there. Make sure it's clean. Maybe try to put a wire in there, something like this, but it should be clear. There's a hole at the bottom. You can perhaps see that hole, and there's another hole on the side here which I cannot film, but it's really on the side of that bore, and that hole must match the side holes of this guy. That's why you need to put it back in position. I did mark it. It goes like this. It can be either side, but it goes really like this. So maybe mark it before removing it. Let me just put it back for you. So it's going to be sure again to rotate it to the correct position. So it should not stay like this. You really need to put it. It's one hand operation, sorry, and the left-handed on the top of it. So make sure to match those marks. I did use paper. I think you can align this side with the block there. It looks like it's a line, a metal line, so make sure you align it. And then I will not be able to screw it back, but this guy goes like that. You just go gently. It's plastic, don't force on it. And this thing, the position of it, how much it goes inside, it's important because it will set the height of the red thing underneath. It's pressing down on it. And I'm not sure, I did film another time. I'm not sure if I did mention at the beginning of the video, but before removing the black screw, mark how many times you unscrew it. Actually, I did mark how many times mine was almost screwed in. Just remember. Okay, so mine was like this. So I did notice if I would screw it in one more turn, it stops. So that was my reference. So from stop like this, almost without forcing, I would rotate it back about one turn. That was my adjustment. That's how the red piece sits in there. And perhaps you see the red piece has rotated a little bit. So I will try to rotate it back to align it here, this border with the metal here. This one, again, even with this cover in place, you can reach the longer screwdriver, not like this one, and can adjust it even while it's running. So you may want to check that one if the idle is not correct, too high or too low. I also have a video that shows how to remove. There is a tiny, right there at the end of the light, there's a tiny screw that you can remove. I have a video on it that gets clogged, and you won't be able to start the snowblower usually at the start of the summer after storage. But one of the things that I recommend you try, if you have electric starter, try this string. It's stupid easy, but try it, because nobody is doing it. And when you try to start it, it doesn't start. Keep the starter depressed so it spins. It's cranking the motor, and while you keep it with one hand, prime it once, twice. So do the two things at the same time and see if it starts. Otherwise you will want to drain from it. Here, check my channel, I have several videos. And if draining from here doesn't work, which is already pretty messy with the gasoline, you need to undo that tiny, it's like a emulsifier from inside, and clear it and put it back in place. I hope it helps, guys, and any suggestions in the comment sections.